Oh, this is gonna be a shit show. Aloha, everyone. I guess we're somewhat live and inspired. Oh shit! What is going on? Okay. Oh, that was me. Okay. Oh, this is a gem. All right, so let's try this one more time. Okay, so we are live and inspired. I guess this is Gentlemen with Cocktails. We're missing one. He should be in here pretty soon. The man,
one of the gentlemen,
Jimmy. But so we're gonna get into some topics, and before the show is over, ladies and gentlemen, we will get into a good friend of mine, a brother in arms, 11 Bravo, Mr. Chris Schwartzlander's Tripping Over Reality. I promise you, before this live stream is over, we will get into it. Hoorah! I mean, wait a second. Hooah! That's
hoorah!
That's the Marines. Hoorah! Or hooray! Or whatever you say. I can't remember. It's like, you know, it's like seamen, Marines. They all got some deviation. But yes,
seamen.
we are going to get into some topics. Oh, cancer. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I have some doozies right here, but while we wait on our third amigo,
it is good to be here, sir.
What's up?
It is good to be here.
I know it is. Just keeps on reminding that I'm alive and I'm probably trapped in hell. But yeah, no, it's totally good, man. But no, hey, Chris, how are you, man? But before we start into our topics.
Amazing. I get better every day, sir.
I know you've been out of commission for a little bit, man. What's been going on with that?
Well, as you know, I broke my pelvis.
Yes.
It was quite painful. I was in the hospital for about a month, and I got out, and I'm about a month and a half to 2 months out of surgery. I'm still getting around on a walk, and dealing with the pain on a daily. But it's getting better. It gets better every day. I'll be back up and writing soon. I'm still doing the articles I was working on prior, but I do want to start my next novel. Probably next week. I'll break some ground on that. So that's where we are. And I'm not sure yet whether it'll be the next Tripping Over Reality book or a horror book that I've been kicking around. So we'll see.
Oh, horror book, really?
Yeah, that one's going to a publisher.
Can you give us like any like, not spoilers, but just like a kind of like a quick elevator pitch, or is it like top secret?
Well,
G7 classified?
No, not really. It'll take place up here in Roan Mountain. I live 3,600 feet up in the mountain, and it's it's out in the middle of nowhere. I live in Redneckville with a lot of wonderful people who would give you the shirt off their backs. But I was out there digging in the field one day, and I found a sheet about an inch under the ground. It was a huge sheet of plastic that had been buried, and I pulled that up because I was going to have that field tilled, and I got to thinking, man, what if that was holding something in? What if that was holding some sort of demon in? So I'm gonna go from there. I'm gonna take that story from there, and it's gonna be a rage demon, and it's gonna be a rather gory but very satisfying story. So it'll be a lot of fun. I'll enjoy that.
That sounds pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I've always wanted to write a horror story, and I grew up cutting my bones on horror stories, and especially movies and comics. I love the old horror anthology books from EC, and I love the Warren magazine books, creepy and eerie, and I grew up reading that kind of stuff, and so I am a little warped, and so I think I'm perfect for writing a horror book next.
Were you big into like Hammer Studios and stuff like that?
Yeah, my mom named me after Christopher Lee. She was a big horror fan, and I grew up watching horror with her, and I remember, heck, my dad would take me to the drive-ins, and I saw The Omen in a drive-in, which scared the daylights out of me when I was 6 or 7. Um, I saw a lot of the old school movies in a drive-in. Suspiria, I saw in a drive-in. Um, shoot, The Car. I don't know if you remember that movie, but that movie scared the hell out of me when I was a kid.
I remember
Yeah.
Christine. That was about a car, and
it was basically the same story. It was about a car that drove around and killed people that was possessed by the devil.
No shit.
It's a low budget. It's a low budget film, but it's a lot of fun. Saw a movie called Sisters years ago in the drive-in with my dad, and that had Margot Kidder in it. I don't know if you remember the movie. She was separated from her Siamese twin, and her Siamese twin died, and her Siamese twin was kind of evil, so she started getting the whole evil thing. Jimmy's in. Looky there.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I heard my phone go off, man. So that's why I was like reaching for something. I was trying to pay attention to, and I'm like, oh fuck, my phone's not there. Because I hear like Margot Kidder and Sisters, and then I see Jimmy just like, hey, what's up, man? So I go, oh, okay. Jimmy, you're here. Thank God. You know, I gotta tell you, Jimmy, you let us down, brother. You let us down.
What I do?
you and technology. Good God.
Oh no.
This thing is me through the nail.
Oh, I'm just busting your balls, man. I'm just busting your balls.
Oh, it's okay. I don't
It's
care.
good to have you.
No, yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you so much for coming. We are the gentlemen with cocktails, ladies and gentlemen. That is who we are. Whew. I
don't know which one of us are cocks and which ones are tails, but
well, yeah.
Gentlemen with cocks.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, between the three of us, there's a lot of meat in this sandwich. That's the only thing I gotta say.
Sure. That's the kind of sandwich I'll pass on.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I was in
the
here.
Old cock meat sandwich.
Yeah, make your buddy smile. You know what I'm saying?
What movie are you talking about? I was in here just long enough to hear enough to be what's like what this.
I was talking about.
We were talking about sisters. It's more like brothers now. It's like holy shit. You
know? Do you recall that film, Jimmy?
What was the name of it?
Sisters.
I do not recall the name of it. Sorry,
It's a film. It's a film from the 70s. Margot Kidder was in it. Very low budget, but I saw it in the drive-in with my dad, and it scared the hell out of me.
Really?
It's pretty good. You should check it out. Yeah,
I'll check it out.
Yeah, it was a double feature with a movie called, I think it was Cannibal Sisters, which was quite disturbing.
I've seen, and that was a pile of poop.
It was so disturbing.
Yeah, it can't be any more disturbing than Cannibal Holocaust. And let me tell you, I decided I needed to go to church for a couple of days after watching that one.
What the hell is Cannibal Holocaust?
Dude,
Cannibal for Rome.
Yeah, that's right. Back in the 70s, there were all these Italian movie directors that were allegedly offing people during the recording of films, like because they wanted their dead bodies to look like real dead bodies, right?
Oh shit!
Some of these guys, so they're like snuff films. So some of these guys were notorious for, like Dario Argento and some of the others. They were notorious for buying actual cadavers to use in movies, shit like that. Some of them did jail time over it. But Cannibal Holocaust, the story in Cannibal Holocaust is you have a group of like documentary filmmakers. They're like shock documentary filmmakers. They always get this god awful footage, and as you're watching the movie, you learn that they usually orchestrate that footage. Like they will pay drunken military guards to just some people off the street and shoot them up against a wall so they can record it. And so they're going out into the Amazon in the jungle to find this unknown tribe of people. And essentially the story behind the movie is the documentary filmmakers disappear, and a year or two later somebody wanders into this village and finds their film cans, And as you watch through the footage, you see they did all this crazy shit to these people who were cannibals, ultimately killed them. And so the story is that some of the people that died in this movie. You know, it's just horrible. Like it's like there. And having watched the movie, there's a couple of things in there where I can't say that what I saw wasn't someone actually being murdered on film.
It was basically redone by Eli Roth.
Yeah, I was already saying, yeah, the rainforest one. That's what I was going.
Yeah. It's very
Green
similar.
Yeah, Green Inferno. That's right.
Film. Green Inferno.
Yeah, Cannibal Holocaust was the reason not to watch Green Inferno.
Wait. Repeat that one more time, Jimmy.
I said Cannibal Holocaust was the reason I decided not to watch Cannibal or Green Inferno.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I'm just not really big into Eli Roth, man.
I saw Cannibals in the Jungle, and that was enough.
And I can't say whether or not this shit really did happen, because probably some of it did, but that was enough for me. Deuces.
I got a group.
It's actually a good movie.
That was our summer.
Which one, Green Inferno or Cannibal Holocaust?
Both are great.
Really? Oh, you seen both of them?
Yeah. See, I don't know that I describe Cannibal Holocaust as being a great movie just because it made me want to go to play.
It's a cinematic masterpiece.
Jimmy's like, man, I took a, fucking a drug habit. I fucking, I'm blowing coke off strippers' asses now and shit because I seen call it Hannibal Holocaust or Cannibal Holocaust. Hannibal.
Yeah.
It's like, that's just too much for me.
To me, it ranks up there with Winter Soldier. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so Jimmy, since we're on the topic, well, I mean, I'm gonna segue here a little bit. Okay, let us get into first Tripping Over Reality. You've read it, correct?
I think we lost him again.
Oh, why? Good
Why?
God, help us!
Yeah, we lost him again.
All right, hold on.
Good old American technology.
Okay. And we are live and inspired. Okay, you know what? All right. So.
Yeah, I have read Tripping Over.
I know. Oh, you have. Well, I would imagine so. You are the writer. But okay. So, do you want to wait for Jimmy, or would you like to get into it now?
Oh, we can get into it. We can get into it if you want. I know that. I know you read it. There's a sequel now that you haven't.
Yeah,
you haven't gotten into because you
Blaze.
Reread.
Yeah, A Blaze of Glory, right? That's
Yep.
man. Yeah, I've been so swamped, man, trying to do all this Comics Gate promotional stuff and trying to do that stuff. Just it's been like, and I've been going back and I've been like rereading the first one as well. Trying to get that fresh in my brain and stuff. So, but yeah, man. I mean, but like I said before, I don't know if I mentioned this on air, but I know I did off. I mean, I from what I remember of it, especially like the beginning of it, like I just the prologue, man, is just so friggin' cool with Gortum or Gortum, and
it harkens back to the old school Kirby Lee monster books with some superheroes in it in the beginning. I thoroughly enjoyed writing the first novel. I thoroughly enjoyed writing the second one, and I understand having to go back and read it because it was 3 years between books.
Yeah,
I'm a slow writer.
Well, hey, man. But that's just see. I kind of to me, it's like, I'm no writer, so it's like, I've written a few articles here and there, but I can imagine that, you want to be proud of it, and like something's never going to be perfect, but you're like, okay, I can live with this, right? It's like 10 years, 20 years from now, I can live with it, and I don't know if you want to get into like any of like your writing process, what influenced you. I mean, because like I know we touched on it a little bit before last week, but like right before we went off. But I mean, I could see JLA, JSA. I mean, I don't know if you read like the Avengers when you were growing up, or if that was like inspirational for writing the comic. Like, what was more like the influences? What were you? I mean, I can tell that you're a lover of comic books. You know what I'm saying? Especially
Yeah,
old.
right. You know, well, to go back to what you said when you started, where you know, you want it to be perfect. There's an old saying, and I wish I knew who said it, but no piece of art is ever finished. It's just abandoned.
Exactly.
Because you know, you still want to go back and correct things. But I put out things as I put out as good a story as I can put out. I love writing. I love writing these novels specifically because they're comic book related. I've been a comic fan since I could read, and that'd be around 1975. And you know, I was definitely influenced by a lot of early work that I read. Certainly, Legion of Superheroes, Justice League, JSA, X-Men, the Avengers, all of which I read growing up. Not necessarily JSA, but you know, their appearances in different books, because there was no, you know, ongoing JSA title at that time. Eventually, you know, All-Star Squadron came along, and there was a couple of JSA minis that came out in the 80s. But in, you know, in my formative years, I just saw them in the crossovers with JLA, with the yearly JSA crossovers. And I certainly was influenced by, of course, those stories, because they're so amazing. I love grand comic book spectacles, which is kind of what the first book is. It's the Justice League meets the Wizard of Oz. It's kind of it's really out there. The second book is a little more grounded in the world that I created of Crossroads City. I wanted to tell a more grounded comic book story with my own twists, so that I could play a little in the world that I created. Because the next three novels, because there should be 5 in the series, they're going to take you out there. They're going to be insane. And most of them will not take place primarily on the planet that I've made. They'll take place in other dimensions and on the planet Bendu, which is the center of all creation. Those will play heavily in the last two novels, which I can't wait to write. Those are going to be a lot of fun. They'll be my fantasy novels, my nod to fantasy books, with superheroes in them. So they'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was going to ask,
Sorry,
man, like,
I just
no.
on.
Hey, this is your time, brother. Your time to shine. No, I mean, I was just gonna. That's why I'm just trying. I'm just trying to, you know, like just sit back seat, man, while you do your thing. I mean, um, like I know you said that you want to do 5 books, right?
Yes, sir.
That's okay. So, and I'm guessing like I know the second one you said it's going to be more of, I'm guessing, more intimate story.
Yes.
Okay.
It's more of a it's more character driven. It's more intimate. It's basically the deterioration of a friendship between two people, and it's hard to read for me without shedding a tear. It's a pretty powerful story, and I wanted to write something a little different. Like I said, the first book is kind of a little crazy. You know, a guy dies and wakes up in the body of his favorite superhero, and he realizes that you know, things aren't what he thought they were. It's an interesting book. I mean, the first book is it's really fun on its surface. There's a lot of humor. You know, I'm a big dick and fart joke guy, so you know, you'll run into that a lot in my writing. But at its core, it's a serious look at death and life and what might come next, and faith. Not that it's preachy in any way, and not that it promotes one religion over another, because it doesn't. But Martin, the main character, was raised a certain way, and when he sees how things are after his death, it really makes him question what he'd always been taught. So it's interesting in that way. But the second book is less a life positive story and more of a morality tale. Like, you know, should we kill villains? You know, and that runs in. I wanted to take the Bronze Age superhero feel and run it into butt it up against the '90s big pockets, big guns anti-heroes, and see what would happen when you've got a group of guys who won't kill going up against a group of air quotes heroes who feel it's okay to murder people simply because you know, they might have done something that you don't like. So it's quite interesting. I think you'll really like the second novel.
Well, see, and that's what like I know, like we've talked off here. Hello, Jimmy.
Jimmy, you sexy bastard.
Okay.
We're going off the rails now. Jimmy's here. Oh shit! Hide the women and children. Let's go looking for dinner.
I love that guy. Look at him.
Oh my God.
What's up? It's good to have you back.
I know. We're getting into tripping over reality. I can't believe this is our reality right now. But you know, we're getting we're getting into it, and we're talking a little bit about the second book. Just like I haven't read it yet. I don't know if you have, Jimmy.
I'm about 3 chapters in.
Okay. Because like, man, I read the first one, like I want to say like about like a year ago, maybe a little bit less, and I'm having to reread it again just to like catch up and stuff like that. And then like we got into it a little bit, Chris and I, like last week, and like, you know, things about Paul Bunyan and Gilgamesh's son Primordial, and just like how he's, you know, kind of immortal and stuff. And it was all like when he was like saying it, I was like, okay, yeah, I remember that now. I just needed something like to trigger my brain, you know. But like, well, since we're getting into it, Jimmy, what are your thoughts on like the first book? Thoughts on the second book? Just like
I love the first book. I love the setup of the characters. Just the whole background of like the early generation, like their goal, like Chris's golden age of heroes was great. I loved it all, man. So there's such good character development, even for such good characters, brilliantly named characters. Poetry in Motion is one of my favorites. I think, like, I would love to see that in you know, in a movie, like just the whole design of that character and how she was a speedster was just great. And of course, you know, there's my favorite character, Rage Fist. Love Rage Fist.
I love that. Interestingly enough, he was that wasn't his original name.
Well, what was his original name, Chris?
His original name was Rape Fist.
No, man.
It was Rape Fist.
Rape Fist? Oh, okay. All right.
And
my buddy like bunting like glow sticks and shit and be like boom, 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 boom. No,
it was Rape Fist, as in rape, as in he would rape you with his fist. But my buddy Jason, and rightfully so, was like, maybe you want to change that name, which I, of course, deferred to him because he was absolutely right. I mean, I would, you know, it's just a shock value name just to be a shock value name. And Rage Fist, I preferred much better.
Yeah.
And, I don't want to
probably wouldn't have liked the character
because he's a little bit of a surprise, but I like him.
Yeah.
I can't hear you, Jimmy. What?
I said I probably wouldn't have liked the character quite as much as if his name were Rape Fist. I'd be like, I don't know how I would have reading it on page. Like, okay.
Well, like, well, correct me if I'm wrong.
Based on the tattoo he has on his knuckles.
Yeah.
It was easy to change that one letter, thankfully.
Like okay, so like I have a fondness for Cachet. Like, she's like the only mortal on the team, right?
Yes, she's the only normal person, and I do address that in the second novel.
Okay. Yeah, because
she's just so damn tough that you know, she's able to run with these guys that can move mountains, you know, and you know, just comes away with scratches and bruises after combat. She's just a badass, and I like her. Initially, when that character was created, she was male, and a lot of these characters I created for the City of Heroes game. You know, I fleshed them out with backgrounds. And I gave them all, you know, names and secret identities and stuff. But she was originally called the Weaponeer. But I wanted to have a just a badass chick on my team, some girl that could just, you know, kick the shit out of guys who were powerful. And she really came to the fore, man. When shit hits the fan, she's right in the middle of it. She's tough. She's a tough girl.
Yeah,
But,
man.
I'm glad you like her. She's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and yeah, dude.
She's a former assassin for a group of terrorists called Verdant Earth, and she was a villain that was assigned to assassinate Air Assault. But he talked her into walking the path that her father really had hoped she would walk before he died. He had taught her to never kill and to respect life and things like that. But upon his death, she kind of lost her mind and fell in with a group of people that just, you know, didn't have her best interests in mind. And her father trained her to be tough already, and she just continued to her bad streak by being an assassin for a group of people that wanted her to kill political opponents and stuff like that. So, yeah, she's a tough girl. She's an interesting character. I'm fleshing her out a lot more in the next novel too. The next novel is Air Assault and her novel. You know, I hear wedding bells. So.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Well,
I think.
Like I don't know, like when, like I don't know if you want to get into this or not, but I'm just gonna ask a question. Like I don't know if you like when you hear about, like, do you ever have like a problem with writing like a female character or like a character, you know, of an opposite sex or anything like that, or like,
no,
you know, do you ever?
No, no, and you know, and that would also play to a question like, do I have a problem writing a gay character, which Tachyon Pulse is. Tachyon Pulse is based on a good friend of mine named Randy, who unfortunately passed before the first novel could come out. And he was just one of my best friends. He was very young. He died. He died way too young. But I don't have a problem writing males or I'm sorry, females or people who might have a different sexual preference than me, because I mean, people are people, and we all have the same wants, desires, and needs. I have a problem with people who say that men shouldn't write women or women shouldn't write men, or, you know, it's your story, write what you want to write. You know, just, you know, if it rings true, it rings true. I write Tachyon Pulse as though he's me, with the same needs and wants in life that I have. I don't see a big problem with writing characters who are different, because I mean, why write a carbon copy of who you are? I mean, that's just silly. Don't lock yourself in a box where all you can write is straight white male characters. That's ridiculous, in my opinion. And you know, if you put a lock on that, then you're just putting a lock on creativity. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, man, I hear you. Yeah, sorry. I mean, I probably didn't question or answer. What was that? Say the question right. I just like I'm just trying to, I don't know. it's one of those things like where like I don't want some because like I'm all about like hey diversity and stuff like that, and it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Because I have no problems.
Oh,
It's like hey, men been writing women for like forever. I mean George Perez wrote fucking Wonder Woman. It's like, but it's just one of those things where, and I don't have a problem with like a woman, transgender, black, white, Asian, whatever, whatever ethnicity or sexual preference you have. Even like a homosexual writer writing a straight character, like if a homosexual writer wanted to write Captain America, great, I mean, it's like I don't have a problem with that. It's just so long you're telling a good story, then awesome.
Yeah. My problem is that people now want to write stories that push a certain way, or they want you to feel a certain way, or they want to push a certain politic on you, which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
If the story is more important than that. In other words, I have a gay character. I mention he's gay in passing, but not. I'm not like he's gay, but I mentioned he has some internal monologue where he misses his loved one, but I don't think that it should be central to the story because I mean we're all people and we all have. I mean I don't run around the streets yelling that I'm straight. I mean that's not something I feel the need to do. But I mean if I don't care what you are, let your freak flag fly, but don't sacrifice story for agenda.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and that's why, like,
but I'm fine with diverse characters. I have no problem with it. But to address diversity for the sake of addressing diversity is an insult to the reader.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To tell a story where characters develop organically and they happen to have a certain sexual preference or they happen to think this way or that way, that's different. I'm a pretty liberal dude. But some of my characters have a more conservative bent. Cachet is very liberal. Her boyfriend, Aerosol, is extremely conservative because I wanted to have that conflict, however small, to exist in my storyline. But I don't think that it's central to the story. You know what I mean? Yeah. People are people, and people need to get along no matter how another person thinks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like people on how they feel about things and start judging people on the content of their character.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, and that's like it, number one, it rolls into the whole, like, opposites attract. That's why when they did like in the New 52, just bringing in the comics, like when they had like Wonder Woman and Superman, being like what was it, the power couple? It's like, well, yeah, they could do that, but I mean, what, a lot of people would be like, well, that kind of makes sense. It's like, okay, yeah, on one spectrum, but on another spectrum, opposites attract. It's like that's why he's fascinated with Lois and stuff like that.
oh yeah,
just like
yeah.
I mean, it's like yeah. I mean, I have very conservative and liberal views as well. But it's like I
didn't like the whole Superman Wonder Woman power couple thing. I liked it when Wonder Woman was with Steve Trevor, and I liked it when Superman was with Clark Kent, or with Lois Lane. But then again, I'm an old guy, and so those are the stories I remember.
Yeah.
But I have no problem with change as long as it's well written change.
Yeah.
Don't change things just to change them. Evolve them.
Yeah, and that's what I am too. It's like, to me, that's the whole thing where I don't know how like you feel about the whole, was it One More Day, when Joe Quesada broke up Mary Jane and Peter Parker? Like, I don't know how you feel.
I have mixed feelings about it. On one hand, I liked it because it took him back to his roots, where he didn't have the internal webbing, and he used the web gadgets again, and but I didn't like the fact that that they had changed things so drastically so quickly. But I have mixed feelings. It wasn't the Clone Saga by any means.
Oh, thank Christ. I have to go through that again, man. It's like, oh God, I'll end up drinking.
Let's not talk about the Clone Saga again. It's so horrible.
Oh,
I have not about it. They just, it's just, that could have been a great story and a neat story had they known where they were going when they started, but it seemed to me like they didn't know where they wanted to end it. So
yeah, it's like, what was it, Judas Traveler? It's like, oh, this fucking,
it just broke apart on re-entry. It was just horrible.
Yeah, but yeah, man, but getting back, man, to tripping over reality. But yeah, man, that's what's cool, man. That's what I like, and like about the whole like diversity thing and stuff like that. And I think that's cool that you have those two characters, like the whole like opposites attract thing, and also too, it's like where you have a character like Aerosol, and he it's basically kind of like mentoring her, but she could also see, but also like through that connection of like, sorry, that mentorship, you can see like an organic attraction, not just physical, but also like mental too, and just like personal as well, like intimate, just with
I wanted to make sure when I wrote this book that I had a diverse cast of characters. Primordial is Middle Eastern. Doc Travers is black. Agent Benitez is Hispanic. I wanted to make sure that I covered the gamut of characters. And once they were in place initially, then I could develop those characters more organically as the stories unfold and as they go into other books. And that's what I'm talking about. If you're gonna make a character, make that character the way you want him to be initially. Don't take an existing character that existed for 20 or 30 years and then all of a sudden change them in one issue. Evolve that character. Give me a reason he's changed. Write it. You know what I mean? Write it. Write the story. Just tell me he changed and all of a sudden he's different one day. Write the story. Give me 6 or 7 issues of storyline to tell me why he's changed in his personal life as a subplot.
Because I remember like we got in.
That's true storytelling. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I'm sorry, man. I interrupted you. No, I was just gonna say, it's like what we were talking about, like with Iceman, right? Like, one comic book, it's like the younger Bobby Drake all of a sudden, he's homosexual, and then the older Bobby Drake kind of finds out that he's gay too. It's like, huh? Or sorry, discovers that he's gay, because it's not, it's more of a discovery, and which, like the terminology I can totally get down with. It's just the whole like, you just kind of like,
that's fine, but I think they needed to develop that.
Yeah, exactly.
Longer. You know what I mean? It was just like they turned the switch and all of a sudden he was different.
Yeah.
But that's not how life is. Tell me a story, entertain me, pull me into the story, make about why he changed, or why he's different, or why he's discovering this facet of his personality that he didn't realize before. Give me some meat to chew on. I know that's a bad analogy, but just tell me,
Here's a dog of bones.
I'm all about the story. If you're going to tell a character-driven story, tell that character-driven story.
Yeah.
And at the same time, don't take away from my superhero hijinks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Make it a subplot. Run it over 6 or 7 issues as a subplot where he's discovering who he really is while this superhero stuff is going on around him. You know
Well,
what I mean? I'm reading comic books for the superhero, like I said, superhero hijinks. But I like to see character development within those storylines. But I like it to, I guess I like the soap opera aspect of it. It's what I'm
well, I
getting
mean,
at. You know what I mean?
that's like what we were talking. Well, we were talking about like, well, fuck, you want to talk about soap opera? X-Men, John Byrne and Chris Claremont. I mean, or Chris
Oh,
Claremont and
so
Jim
good.
Lee. I mean, you want to talk about
So
fucking soap opera? Yeah, it's so good because it's like, but they were like the ones that kind of like were the ones if you wanted that fucking as the stomach churns, you know, Knots Landing
Yeah.
shit. You know, but in like superhero, like, you know, big bombastic, you know, punching fucking Juggernaut
Yeah.
and like, you know,
Yeah.
pyro and shit. You know, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I
You know,
remember
you can even go half a book subplot and half a book action. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Or just
Well,
interweave it.
well, remember when
But
they used to
don't.
do like the backups? Like you could have done like what you're talking about with Iceman as a backup. I mean, I would not mind spending $1 more for like a few to like, you know, like six
Yeah,
to
like a backup feature.
yeah, like 6 to 8
Yeah.
pages to get that where he's like, you know, he goes on, he's like, whoa, wait a second here, Jeannie, you don't know
Yeah. So
me. He goes out on a date with a
is.
girl, and he's like kind of questioning it, or it's like, you know, he looks on fucking Tinder, right? Or like, you know, you know, he starts to, it's like, well, maybe she was right. I don't know how I feel, you
I
know, and
guess
then
that's
at
what
the
I'm.
end,
I guess that's what I'm missing is the storytelling aspect of things.
yeah.
Um,
No, I
now
mean, I am too, man.
I don't know if you remember the classic X-Men. It was called Classic X-Men, where
Yeah.
they were reprinting the Uncanny
Mhm.
X-Men.
Oh yeah.
And in the
Yeah, I used
back
to
of
pick
each
those up for
issue,
like $1.
in the back of each issue, they had a backup feature called Viginettes, which explored the personal lives of the X-Men. And I thought
Yeah.
that was some of the most fascinating reading that I had ever read in a comic book. It was very poignant.
Mhm.
And I thought that was wonderful. And that would have been a fantastic way to address the issue.
Yeah.
I just felt that it happened too quickly in a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, he's a different character than we've known for 60 years. You know, I'm fine with the character. I don't care how they write him, just write him well. You know,
Yeah.
that's all I'm saying. You know, that's
Well,
just
yeah.
my biggest beef. And it's not, and you know, like a lot of these characters have been handled really well. Miles Morales, fantastic character. The extra dimensional character explained it perfectly. He's from another dimension. He's not from Earth or you know 616 or whatever
Yeah.
designation they to Marvel Earth. I think that's fantastic. You can do legacy characters. I liked what they did. Hell, Michael Holt's one of my favorite characters of all time. And he's a black guy, but he's a legacy character, and he was handled so well by Jeff Johns, who is a wonderful writer, who's one of those writers who cares about the history of the characters that came before. And everything that he writes is a love letter to everything that came before, which is why Michael Holt was such an incredibly well-written character. And to this day, I'm pissed off that DC doesn't have a JSA comic book out there. That's their flagship group. That was the first superhero group to ever exist anywhere. And it's not in comics now. And that blows my freaking mind, you know.
Well,
But
I know Mr. Terrific, like Michael Holt, like he's in the new. I know Jeff Lemire, was it Terrific's book?
yeah. Which
I read a
like
few
a
of the.
twist. Is it good? I hope it's good.
Yeah, I mean I have some personal issues with Jeff Lemire that I won't get into, but I mean I've read like the first
Oh,
2 issues, and they're pretty, and I like Jeff
he's
Lemire as a
a
writer.
phenomenal writer.
Yeah, I just don't.
He's a
I mean,
good
there's
writer.
just some of the stuff that he said like lately, like, and I won't get into it. But
Yeah.
like I'm just like, okay, I can't support you no more, man. I'm sorry, dude, because you're kind of like,
isn't it a twist on the Fantastic Four kind of?
yeah, like the Challengers of the Unknown. I mean, that's basically. But
Okay.
they're coming out with like the new Challengers. It's like but which is like weird. It's just like because I know you have Metamorpho in his group. You have shit, what's his name? The Plastic Man. Um, uh, you have this new lady in the group too. Shit, but it's led by Mr. Terrific, Michael Holt, and it's and like man, like I said, man, the first two issues, I mean, were and they actually bring back like Tom Strong in it. I don't know if you remember that character.
Yeah, that's
Like,
awesome.
yeah. He in the first issue, like at the very end, there's like they go like to this like extra dimensional place, and like they find a device by Tom Strong, and he sends out this distress beacon, and basically if it lights up, it says that basically something's happened to him. He's either been MIA or KIA. You know, and that's why it's because it's like this big device on this world and stuff. And this happens after DC Metal, so this is the
Okay.
outcome of DC. Yeah. So I thoroughly enjoyed DC Metal. I thought it ran a little bit long, but
I have my issues with DC Metal.
really okay. Let's hear them because I want to hear this because I do too.
Oh,
But
I liked it. I liked the results. I liked the storyline. I didn't like a lot of the characters spoke off canon and didn't ring true to me.
like which ones? Just
if you're gonna write a character, write that character the way he should be written. Don't make him talk like a young hipster. I mean, it's just not.
yeah.
It's just not that character. And at this point, I can't recall which character it was, but
Okay. No, you're good.
I'd have to peruse it again. But all in all, it was a solid storyline. It just felt a little rushed to me. You said it went a little long. I felt it was a little rushed.
Yeah.
But then again, that's just opinion, and that's everyone's got them. They're like assholes.
Exactly.
Everyone's got an opinion, and they all stink.
Exactly.
But I like it. And to go back to legacy characters, I think that DC does legacy characters so much better than Marvel, because they have such a richer history to pull from. When you've got the JSA characters that are all basically in retirement and old and dying off because they existed during World War II, then you can replace those characters with anyone you want. And it makes it easy because this is your new Mr. Terrific. This is who he is. And that's how it's going to be. Instead of with what Marvel tried to do with creating all these legacy characters right away with taking place of their heavy hitters when you knew that these characters would not be around in a year or two, or they wouldn't be in that position in a year or two. Perfect example is that they're bringing, X-23 is no longer Wolverine. Wolverine's back. Jane Foster's no longer Thor. Thor is back. That young lady who was
Riri Williams.
Yeah.
She has her own book.
No longer going to be.
I know what you're talking.
Yeah, but Iron Man's back. But you see what I'm saying? That they're not playing fair. They're not being honest with their readers.
Captain America is no longer a Nazi. We have fake Cap now. We have Dreamscape Cap.
Real problem
totally
with the whole. I had a real problem with the whole Cap as a Nazi storyline.
You and I both, brother. It's like I never looked at a single one of those fucking issues, man. I was like,
I didn't read them either. I mean, and that's wrong on me because I mean, if I'm going to complain about them, I should at least pick them up and read them, which I didn't do. But I didn't feel that I wanted to spend my money on it, and I think both companies need to realize that. Are people going to spend money on these? I know DC or Marvel is just bleeding money right now, and it's their own fault. They've got, in my opinion, they've got writers that don't remember the history of the comic books. Or research the history of the comic books, and they just don't care, and they're writing these stories that just don't ring true to the history of the books, and they're losing older readers left and right. And And I'm going to be honest with you, who spends more money? That new reader who's coming in off the streets that may have watched an Avengers film, or that guy who's been reading for 30 years. That guy who's been reading 30 years is probably spending $300, $400, $500 a month in your shop.
Yeah.
You know, as opposed to this young kid who may be able to get a hold of $5 from his mom to come and get a new book.
Well, yeah. And that's
so in my opinion, they need to pander more to the older readers than younger readers. But that's just me being an older reader and maybe being a little biased.
No, but there's validation in your, and I don't want to say argument, but like what you're saying, right? Because the thing is that yes, you do. It's like let's say with Star Wars, just for instance, right? You have to, I don't want to say pander, but you have to bring in that new fresh blood audience to basically make the cycle keep on going, right? You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. But you don't want to like basically disrupt, like piss off your old readers to the point of like, okay, it's like the whole, like, I know we were talking about last week, but like with the reread thing, right? You want to talk about fucking not organic, like Tony Stark going into like a diabetic coma or whatever the fuck happened to him. He got like lights out, punched by Captain Marvel in Civil War II, Electric Boogaloo, and then he goes into a fucking coma, and then all of a sudden she becomes Iron Man out of the blue. He had like one interaction with her and like one comic book.
Bad storytelling.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't like let's say like if it was like you've seen Homecoming, right? Spider-Man Homecoming. Yeah. Like how if she had what's up?
I enjoyed it thoroughly. I thought it was fantastic.
Oh, I did too. I did, and what I'm getting at is like I loved the relationship between Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man and Tom Holland's Spider-Man. If you would have had that, like if you would have built that up in the comic book, and then do like Civil War II, like 6 months, 8 months from now, and then just put and then it's more organic. Then it's like, okay,
well, and they did that. They did that before when Rhodey became Iron Man in the 80s.
Yeah, when he was on West Coast Avengers, and he took over. Yeah, Demon in a Bottle. He took over for fucking.
Well, hell, he was Iron Man in Secret Wars.
That's right.
He was one of Stark's best buddies. I think at the time Stark was battling alcoholism or had a problem with his heart. One of the two things. And Rhodey was his buddy. Rhodey stepped up and became Iron Man. And it took a lot, it was leading to it. That was fantastic writing. It was so well done. And it was so organic. Yeah, it was, and that's the way, that's what I'm talking about. Write that story, put the time in, to tell the story. But the problem is, Marvel right now, they see they're losing a little bit of money and they're so reactionary that they change things on a dime. And that's just alienating new and old readers alike. But what you were saying is right. You need to give something to the young readers, but at least throw a bone to the older readers so that you don't completely alienate them. And then they just stop buying. I don't even read. I read a handful of books now. I used to buy 30 books a month. I read maybe 5 now. And that's from all companies. I just got tired of the same old rehashes and the quick changes and the oddball character choices and so now there is so much stuff for me to read out there that's been written prior that I can get a hold of now, that I'm just going to go back and revisit a lot of old stories or start filling holes in the series that I have. And, that's 50 years of me collecting I've got. So it's not like I have a shortage of reading material.
Yeah, of course. And that's like, I just want to ask you a real quick question before I forget, because I know like my brain's so fucking scrambled. Like if I don't get it out right now, then I'll probably forget it. Do you just on like a personal level, do you see when you see like the new stuff, do you see yourself going back to the older stuff and like asking yourself, why can't they just kind of write it similar like this, but update it, not give it a fresh coat of paint, but just what the F, it's like, this is how
I do.
Comics should be. Like, do you see yourself kind of,
I do.
I don't think judgmental, but just kind of being kind of skeptical about like new stuff? Like what's your take on it?
And that's why I praise writers like Johns and Busiek. They're guys who, like I said, honor the history of characters, and they'll take something old and worn out, and they'll make it new again. Perez and Busiek did the Avengers run in 2000. I don't remember, 2003, 2004. And to be quite honest with you, it was one of the best Avengers runs that I had seen in ages. And they did it by going back and looking at the history of the heroes and villains and bringing back some of those old oddball villains that you hadn't seen in a while and making them viable villains and viable threats for the team to go up against. And it was phenomenal, and really good job dealing with everyone's personal issues and, Wanda's issue with, Wonder Man being dead and her being able to summon him. I don't know if you remember that. And they did such an amazing job at taking these old, tried and true characters, dusting them off and making them look brand new again. Johns did the same thing when he did the JSA run. He took these characters that, really no one had cared about for a lot of years, except for diehards like me, and just breathe new life into them. I mean, when he took over, Goyer and Robinson were writing the JSA book for a few issues, and I think it was issue 5 or 6 that Johns jumped on board, and he just took that and ran with it, and he just did such an incredible job. I couldn't wait for the next issue to come out, and it was, pins and needles on the edge of your seat action, and it all made sense when you compared it to the old history of the characters.
Yeah,
to old stories.
Well, see,
what's happening now is these companies, they get a new creative team and they got to relaunch an issue 1, and that's just stupid.
Yeah,
it's just stupid. Yeah, all new, all different, going in a new direction. When everything is all new and all different, it's all the same.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's like having the Marvel Now, the Marvel Now 2.0, then fucking Legacy and all this other, it's like all these gimmicks and shit. But like what you're talking about, it wasn't Chris Robinson, it was James Robinson, and like what you're talking about, the Golden Age. Like I like after the last live stream we did, like I went back, dude, those covers are fucking amazing. The of that 4-issue series that you told me about, the Golden Age.
I'm sorry. You're dragging a little there. What?
Okay, sorry. It was James.
Are you there?
Hello? Hello? Hello?
I got a really... Hello?
I'm here.
Are you there? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Can you hear me?
What was your question?
You can hear me, right?
I can, but you're getting a little drag. Hold on here. I think we're good. Go ahead.
Okay. Like it was James Robinson, the author.
You had quite a delay, I think.
I do?
No, I think we both have a little bit of a delay. My internet connection is horrible.
Oh no, that's cool. But yeah, it's James Robinson, the Golden Age, which we were talking about last week. Like the covers, like I saw them and they're really phenomenal. Hello?
Hold on. Let me hello. Let me drop out. Come right back.
Okay. All right, everybody. This is a little bit of an interlude. Hello?
You
Hello?
there?
I'm here. You good?
Hey,
Hey, we good?
I see you.
Can you hear
Can you
me?
hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hello. Hello.
Hey.
Oh, isn't it wonderful?
Okay, hold on a minute. Let me
I
try
feel like
something.
Fat Bastard on that wire trick he was doing.
Oh my God. Hold on.
Yeah, you're breaking up pretty bad. I'm so sorry. I can hear you. I can hear you. It's real tinny, but I can hear you. It's dragging a little. Hold on one sec, okay?
Oh, there we go. That'll turn you on. This is what living in the mountains is, folks.
Hey.
Hello? Can you hear me? Oh, fucking technology.
Hey.
Hey. Okay, hold on. Wait a second. Let me try turning my camera off. Hello? Hey. Hey, try. Can you hear me better now? Okay. I turned my camera off.
You're falling off, but I can hear you. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hey, try turning your camera off. See if that helps.
Oh. Just a minute. This is not working.
See, people, this is what happens when too many things are downloading, I guess. Ugh, what is going on here? All right. Hold on a minute.
Hello.
Hey.
This is ridiculous.
This is downright disgraceful. Yes, trying to do a podcast or live stream here.
Dear Google Hangout.
You piece of poo. You fucking turds.
I can hear you now.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we're good. Did you get like some tinfoil and?
Yeah, I think so.
You like have like?
Yeah, I adjusted the rabbit.
Oh, did you? Okay.
It's just running like shit.
Well, it is almost 9 o'clock on a Friday night. You know, people, I guess, are staying in and not boozing it up usually. You know, I don't know what the hell's going on.
They're all at home whacking it to internet porn.
Yeah, fucking furries. Disgusting.
That's too funny.
That's fucking
too
grotesque.
Oh shit. Well, I can hear you now at least.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that.
No, you're totally good, dude. I mean, it's totally fine, brother. No, what I was saying, man, is that the Golden Age, because we were talking about like Robinson. It's James Robinson was the author, I believe. Um,
Yeah, the Golden Age.
yeah,
Oh,
and
he's such a good.
yeah, those covers, man, are fucking amazing. I don't know who did the covers for them, but like after our live stream last time, I went and I looked it up, and yeah, man, they were fucking badass, man.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit.
Okay, you're in twice. Okay,
Caused a loop. Sorry about that.
no, you're good.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Excellent. Anyway.
But yeah, real.
I'm gonna have to go back and reread that story. That was a phenomenal book.
Yeah, like what the fuck? Okay, sorry. Somebody on a Discord just fucking like posted some crazy crap. I have that Discord crap, and so like it just kind of comes up with people like tweeting or texting or shit. So it's just like, oh my gosh, just leave me alone. I'm trying to do a fucking live stream here, you people. But yeah, but no, man. I have to check it out too, man. But yeah,
it's so good. Robinson's also one of those writers who can take what came before and make gold out of it. You know, instead of my biggest problem with a lot of writers and a lot of script writers for films who adapt books and comic books, they think that they can write so much better than what came out before when they can't. You know, there's a reason these books or these comics sold millions of copies. You don't need to change everything, you know.
well, I thought it was just because of all the variants and like the speculation market and all that shit. So that's why I thought they sold so well. No, I'm just messing around. Sorry. Like, yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Speculators crack me up. Speculators. I don't understand speculators. I don't understand, and that's just me. I don't understand buying a book not to read it. It blows my mind, you know. But that's the difference between a collector and a comic lover and a speculator. Comic lovers, collectors like yourself and me and James and millions of other people out there. They love the industry. They love the stories. And speculators, they're just in it to try to turn a quick buck, which has never really turned out well for them.
Well, see, that's like, man, I know a lot of people don't like this run of Venom, but I really like the Venom of Space Knight. It's like one of the last ones I think that what's his name, Flash Thompson did, where he teamed up with the Guardians, but he has his own solo run. Like I have all the single issues, like 1 through 13. And Robbie Thompson was the writer for it. And I just bought like the 2 trade paperbacks of that because I really enjoyed that series, man. And it's like,
yeah,
and like I would be perfectly fine just like giving like if I had to make room or something, to give the single issues away, I wouldn't really want to because like what you're just saying, the collector in me. But if I had to like downgrade, let's say if I was like moving or something, I'd be like, okay, it's cool. I have it in trade and stuff. So, but yeah, I do understand what you're saying, man. It's like, and that's why okay. So just since we're on the topic, man, of like speculation market and like comic book. Okay. So how do you feel about the comic book industry in the way of, do we need a third party like comic book shops to get our material, or like a comic or like, let's say, getting it from Marvel Direct, where it's like, I'm not saying getting web comics, but just getting it from them directly, having it shipped to your house. What's your feelings on that, and anything that comes to mind? Because I just real quick, like I remember what's that? Hello?
I was just going to answer your question.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say really quick, just so I don't forget. The like I remember even before like I went to the comic book shop that I grew up with when I came to Florida, the book gallery. Like I was getting comic books from like the grocery store, supermarket, the 7-Elevens, and all that jazz.
Yeah.
Like in the right next to fucking Reader Digest and the TV Guide back in the day. If you don't know what TV Guide is, folks, back in the day there was this thing called cable, and like if you wanted to know what the hell was coming on monthly, you had to fucking get the TV Guide because usually that's okay. Just for the millennials that may look at this 20 years from now.
Yeah, back in the day, they didn't have the screen layover that showed you what was coming on each channel. You had to look it up in your TV Guide.
Exactly.
When I was growing up, and I'm a little older than you, I got all my comics from Kroger or the drugstore on the spinner rack. But it's funny, the direct market, like Marvel Direct and stuff like that is shipping. I mean, the ability to buy comics and have them shipped to your house has always existed.
Yeah.
Even when I was a kid, they would bend the shit out of them, but you could get a subscription of whatever comics you wanted and have them shipped to the house. You didn't necessarily have to go to the store. And even when comic books shops started popping up and comic companies started selling directly to shops instead of mom and pop stores or drug stores, you could still order them and have them shipped to your house. Do I think comic shops are a necessity? It's a haven for geeks like us, where we can get together and talk about comics. Let's face it, most of us are introverts, and the only time we get out of the house is to go see our friends at the comic shop. And it's our bar, it's our Cheers, where everybody knows your name. I think the local comic shop is important to the comics industry as a whole. I think it's where a lot of us still get our news from. A lot, especially us older guys. I don't go to CBR or any of the comic websites to get my news. I go to the local comic shop and talk to the guys there and find out what's coming out, or pick up my previews from there and thumb through that, I do think it's necessary. And if it goes away, it would be a sad thing to happen. On the other hand, if we look at the difference between physical comics and in a digital age, when you can get them on the computer, there's just something to be said that is uniquely intimate, and this includes novels and books as well, to owning an actual physical copy of something. There's a smell of it, the feel of it. Curling up in the bed with a comic book can never be replaced, in my opinion, by a tablet. I've got a tablet with comics on them that I can read, but I'm more comfortable reading an actual comic book. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, yeah, and
there's just there's something tactile about it. There's something that I just hope never goes away. I would hate to see digital replace print.
Yeah, and that's why I don't think
it breaks my heart.
What's up?
It would break my heart.
Yeah,
it would break my heart.
I mean, that's I don't think that's like they were talking about, like, all tablets are gonna replace, what is it, textbooks and like schools and all that jazz. I mean, I believe you're right. I mean, look at bookshops now. Like what is it? Barnes and Nobles, BAM, Books A Million. Like used books stores and stuff like that. I mean, they're still around.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're going to die out. I mean, people have been talking that shit for years, and it's like, there's always going to be like a necessity for them. Now, I know that like recently comic book shops have been like closing up like rapidly, but to me, I'm of two minds of it. I do believe that we do need comic book shops. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Sorry, your camera went on and off. Sorry, but like I do believe that we need them, but it's just one of those things where where you see them die out, and I believe, okay, like let's say a really good comic book shop like here locally is Dwayne's World, like, and I went there earlier today, and like as a business strategy, like Dwayne really has a good business strategy, because he just doesn't have, I mean, he has a shit ton of comics, but I mean, he doesn't have every fucking indie book that comes out. He knows what sells and doesn't. He knows his demographic, and also too, not just on the comic side, but he also has like D&D. He also has Warhammer. He also has miniatures, Shadow fucking Run, Star Wars, D20. I mean, all these fucking games, right? I mean, and it's like what you were talking. And he has like tables and booths and miniature sets, and even if you don't want to, like, even if you don't want to play, you can actually be a spectator, and he doesn't get mad at that shit, and that's what's cool. It's like, because hey, you spectate, you look, maybe you find something, it's like, you're not loitering or anything. You just basically, you're like, oh shit, and you talk to people, hey, why are you into this, and stuff like that. You actually make friends, and you actually a fucking community, and
it's a great strategy to have games and game stuff in your shop to supplement the comic side of it. But I think a lot of these shops are closing down strictly because of the fall off in the industry. People are dropping comics in droves, and it's hurting. It's hurting the industry, and this is caused by badly written stories, relaunches, the span 50 comics. No one, unless they have a really good job, can buy these full story arcs that take place over a span of 50 books in a summer. You know what I mean? I think it's killing the industry. I really do. I think it's killing the comic shop side of it. I'm sure that Marvel or DC don't mind because, like you said, they can always ship them to your house direct, but they're definitely affecting the small business side of it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's like stuff like too, like I mean, I want to mention Mountain Empire as well, because that's like, where I have a subscription, because it's local and stuff, and I do have like a subscription at Dwayne's too, because I like to go. I'm more of a person who I like to stimulate the local market, the local industry, rather than going out and getting my comic books. Right? I mean, I don't care if I go.
You want to stimulate the local economy. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just one of those things where it's like, I don't care if I can go on Comixology and get like a fucking trade paperback for like $6. I mean, that's great, but if I can get it at like Mountain Empire Comics for like 15, I'd rather give it to them, because it's like, you have shipping. Well, not really shipping and handling with Comixology, but it's like what you're talking about. I have something tangible. I can put it on my shelf. I don't have to pick up a fucking tablet and worry about the tablet, like going out, like if for some reason water gets on it or some shit, I can just pick it up off the bookshelf, read it, trade paperback. But like what you were talking about, I think there's just too many damn books.
Almost every time I pick up my Kindle to read a book, it's not charged.
Really?
I want to read a book right now. I don't want to wait till my Kindle charges.
Yeah,
or my Nook or whatever.
Well, that's
and I love Mountain Empire. They're a great comic shop, and Atomic Comics is a great place, and I give them a shout out. I love the guys there. I love Sean. I love Diana and Derek. They run great shops, and they carry my books. So I owe them a debt of gratitude. They're amazing people, and I support them whenever I can. I need, I haven't been able to get into the shops, since the accident.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping to get out this weekend and stop by both shops, tell them hi, see what's going on, and talk to them. But you're right. I love supporting the local shops. I'd rather give them a little money to put in their pockets than to send my money directly to DC or Marvel Comics. I mean, yeah, they're getting a piece of it, but I would rather help the local guys make a little money.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too, is that I don't. My problem is I hate seeing, like, you can look at comic shops that are just kind of like getting by, as where the other
Yeah.
ones are striving or thriving. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and
Yeah,
that's one of those things too, where it's just kind of like where, you know, just because you ran a comic book shop, what, like, back in the 90s, or like, you know, 30 years ago, 20 some odd years ago, doesn't mean that you can run it successfully now. It's like, think times,
yeah,
you know, it's like what Bobby Dylan said, you know, times are changing. You know, it's just, you know, it's just
yeah.
one
You got to know your readers. You got to know who's going to buy what. You can't just order, 30 copies of every book that's coming out.
yeah.
You've got to order it based on your subscription base, and maybe have one or two books on the wall a month. Over ordering is what kills a lot of these shops.
Yeah.
Because there's no return policy, like there used to be back in the day.
Yeah, where you basically like would get credit, you know, for that. I mean, that's like I used to work at a bookstore like Barnes and Noble, or Borders Books and Music, before they closed, and like basically on the periodicals, the only thing you had to do is like rip the cover off and then send the article back to, or send the book back to them, or you kept the book, you sent the cover to them, and you would get credit for like the next periodicals. It was kind of like a revolving door, where basically
Yeah,
they owed you, like they had one up on you, but you were always going to get periodicals. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the way the old comics used to be. I've got a few books upstairs that are from the 40s and 50s that are missing half of the cover, and I wanted the book anyway. But back in the day, they would be able to return the top as the title, the top of the cover, to get a little bit of money back.
Oh, really? Okay.
For books that didn't sell, and then they would keep those books with the cover half missing and sell those for a couple of pennies a pop, and make a little money that way. But that just doesn't exist anymore. There's no more back end that you're getting from like Diamond. And the biggest problem is Diamond itself.
Yeah.
The fact that you have a basically what's a monopoly, and no one's challenged them with an antitrust lawsuit, is beyond me. No one else supplies comics, and that's clearly a violation of monopoly laws. I can't believe with no one challenging them, they can do pretty much whatever they want, and they screw shops over all the time. They misship stuff all the time and deliver the wrong books, or send these books to this shop that didn't order. It happens all the time. But there's no one there to run cowboy over them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, see, that's why I know that I wanted to get Jimmy on this too, and that's what, because I know that, I don't want to speak, out of school for him or out of term, but I know that like a long time ago, I know that, just if I'm remembering this correctly, so I mean, I may be just not remembering this, but he was like, hey, listen, look, I could get my books directly, but I would rather, when John was alive, God rest his soul, at Mountain Empire, he was like, yeah, I love coming in here, I love talking to people, I love supporting, the local industry, especially John, known him forever, great guy, salt of the earth, and that's how, and that's like John, John Stone is who we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, and
John Stone,
he was
he was an amazing man. He was a godsend. He was a good man. He's just, I'd never met a man that was so nice. He was a kind person.
Yeah, I mean, he actually was a school teacher. He worked at an auto auction for 30 years. He actually retired from teaching elementary, and he opened up with his partner Robert, who is still now in business with Mountain Empire. Like like he he didn't have to do the comic stuff. He just loved to do it, and that's just for the people who listen to this now or later, just so they can get some context of what we're talking about. Like, yeah, I mean, it's like, and that, Jimmy, and that's why I want to get his opinion on this too. But but yeah, but that's just one of those things too. where I, as a business strategy, that they're what you're talking about, right? You know, I mean, indie people like people like IDW or shit, what is it? Boom Studios, DE, Dark Horse. Yeah, they're the ones that need third party, right? You know, because they're the.
Oh, they
but it's just
absolutely
one
do. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're the ones that's like their bread and butter. You know, like from like a business model, business strategy. Yeah, I mean, DC and Marvel on the other hand, they don't really need it. But it's just my problem with the big two is just that they make so many fucking books. It's like no one person can subscribe to them. And number two, like, because they can say that, oh, we're making this shit for everybody. It's like, motherfucker, you need to have like maybe 2 at 3 kid, you know, at most 3 kids books. You need to have like maybe 10 ongoing series and like maybe 5 you know, interchangeable what is it? Maxis or minis, you know what I'm saying? Like one of you know, 5-issue run or 12-issue run that you want to do. And then it's like fucking Moon Knight. Great character. You know, I love the character Moon Knight, hard to fucking sustain an audience, but if you do like a 12-issue run of him, like somebody like a Netflix, right? You know what I'm saying? You have the story you want to tell with fucking Moon Knight, boom, there you go. Put it in a fucking comic book. You have a story that you want to tell with Starfire, boom, great, there you go. Fucking Starfire, you know, for DC. You know what I'm saying? It's just that, you know,
there are absolutely some unnecessary series out there. There are a lot of storylines that can take place within the story arcs of established books.
Exactly.
A lot of these giant mega events could take place in a story arc in the Avengers or the JLA, or you know, they don't have to be a giant mega event. And then you can have your, you know, your random side book that you might want to extend it into Amazing Spider-Man for an issue or something like that. But Marvel's whole business strategy from the very beginning, and Stan Lee said this, was to just flood the market with as many books as they could. At one point, they couldn't do that because DC they were using DC to print their books. I don't know if you were aware, but at one time, back in I think it was the early '70s, DC printed all of Marvel's books, and they only allowed them a certain amount of books a month to be printed. That's why whenever a book got canceled, they would start up another book, or they would change the title of a book and change the content in it. But Marvel has always thrown whatever they could against the wall to see what would stick, and they flood the market a lot of times with some good stuff, but a lot of times with some stuff that's absolute dreck. And you know, and DC, you know, they followed suit and they do the same thing. But it's sad to see that much garbage out there on the shelves that that gets canceled so quickly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's like a, like, I don't want to say, like, certain books, I believe, like what's a, I'm trying to think of one that I would mind if a book was. Do we need to wrap this up, or
What's that?
Do we need to start wrapping it up, or are we good?
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, we're good. I was pointing to my wife. She's walking behind me.
Okay. Yeah. No. I saw you. That's why I stopped. I just didn't know it. Okay. But no, some of the books I believe could probably just be like graphic novels. Basically, you know how like DC used to do the Earth One books, like for a while they were doing those, like Earth One Superman, Earth One Batman, Earth One Teen Titans. They started it like, I want to say like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And so that's like certain characters, right? If you wanted to take a chance on a character, like let's say, like the West Coast Avengers, right? I mean, that #1 came out and it just looks, to me, fucking dumb. It's like, that's not my cup of tea. I mean, it just looks very hokey, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know if you've seen it, but it looks fucking stupid. It just looks fucking, I'm just gonna, like, to me,
I haven't seen it.
it's like you have America Chavez, which is I think is a great character when she was on the Ultimates, Al Ewing's run, and then she did her own book, and it's like the fucker like got canceled within I think like the sixth issue or seventh issue, but they announced the cancellation like within the third issue, and that's like they had Black Panther. Oh, it's like, okay, Black Panther's fucking great. The Ta-Nehisi Coates run, everybody praises it. I love the Christopher Priest run myself. I have read Ta-Nehisi Coates' run, but Christopher Priest, his run on Black Panther was amazing. I love Christopher Priest. His new Deathstroke is fucking phenomenal. The thing
he did that Falcon book we were talking about.
Yeah. Oh, he did.
Yeah.
But what is his? Because his name was
Back
Christopher what? Christopher Wilson, or because it wasn't Priest. Like he his
No, it
shit.
was I can't remember. One moment.
Oh, that's cool, man. But yeah, I'm here.
I believe it was. Let me see here. I can find his name out for you real quick.
Because I know that he said basically he told his ex-wife, or he told his wife, that if they ever got divorced, he would become a priest, and so he changed his name to Priest. So that's how he became a priest. So.
It was Jim Owsley.
Jim Owsley. There we go.
Yep. And he used to be he was a singer-songwriter as well. So I think that's interesting.
Oh, was he really? I didn't know that.
He's a really talented guy. Yeah, super talented.
But that's like basically, okay, so you have Black Panther, then you have Black Panther World of Wakanda, then you have Black Panther and the Crew, and it's like, well,
they oversaturate with they had 30 Avengers comics out there for a while. I mean, it was ridiculous,
Did they really? See, like I never was a big Avengers person.
Well, not 30. I'm exaggerating.
Oh, yeah,
it was like 4 or 5 Avengers books at one point, and when you only need at most 2,
Okay, check this shit out. All right, so since we're talking about, like, I think this is kind of poignant to what we're fucking talking about here. Okay, so I got the new previews, right, or at least last week's previews. So they're doing Revenge of the Spider-Verse, right? Because I know we were talking about Spider-Verse. Yeah. And dude, they have like 10 or 9 books out for this fucking thing. If I can just get to it. Okay, so you have Geddon. Okay, that was the first one to come out, which had like Spider-Punk. You have Spider-Force. You have Bolt of Spiders. You have Spider-Girls. So that's what, 4. You have Spider-Gwen, aka Spider-Ghost, #1. This is her 3rd fucking volume right now, because it was Spider-Gwen, and then it was Radioactive Spider-Gwen, and now it's aka Spider-Ghost Spider-Gwen. Then you have Peter Parker's.
Here's another thing that's pissing me off about Marvel. They take a couple of words and throw them together and make a character. Cosmic Ghost Rider. Gwenpool. What's the new one? There's one they're doing with Howard the Duck. It's just absolutely.
Oh, ludicrous. Yeah. Shit, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Fuck. I can't remember.
I'm like, come on, guys.
I've seen
it. Do something. Just because you throw 2 words together doesn't mean it's going to make a viable character. And the thing with these Spider-Man issues, and there being so many, when you have so many Spider-Man books, it takes away what makes the Spider-Man character great, because you're diluting it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you can look at Marvel's history and you see they're following a lot of the same path that DC ran for many years. For a long time, they had, Superman and Batman family books where you had like Bat this and Bat that and, Super this and Super that. And they have since kind of moved away from that. I mean, yeah, of course, Supergirl still exists. Superboy still exists. They're viable characters, but you don't have so many Bat characters. I mean, there are characters that are tangent characters in the Bat universe that aren't necessarily Batman or an imitation of Batman. I mean, you know, you've got like Nightwing and Robin and Red Hood, but they're not Bat Robin and Bat Red Hood. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you flood the market with too many Batman or too many Spider-Man or too many of anything, it takes away what makes that singular character special. And I think you're just hurting yourself in the end. You know, if you have one Spider book out there that's selling really well, why are you going to spread that out over 4 books and risk the chance of losing the sales on that one book that was selling really well, so that maybe one of these other books are going to sell? Because not everyone can afford to buy 6 Spider-Man books in a week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, see, and
I
that's
just don't think they think about the economics of it.
well, see, that's also too, and that's like people forget that fucking Marvel owns Star Wars, right? You know, so the only Star Wars book I'm getting. See, I forgot about this one because like I'm like you, I have like a handful of books that I collect. Like I'm actually impressed with the Orlando Double or Nothing, that comic book. It's a 5-issue run, but it's like
Is it good?
young Lando. What's up?
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
Yeah, I mean,
There's a character
I love
that
it.
can really explore.
Yeah, I mean, and that's like, man, like
That's a character in the Star Wars universe that's ripe for comic story.
yeah, and I love learning about
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, you're good. No, I was just piggybacking off what you said. Like I love learning about the character through that medium, right? You know, I don't need a fucking movie. I would love to see Donald Glover reprise his role as Lando. Of course, you know, I thought that he did the character justice in the movie, and I think that he was one of the best parts of fucking Solo: A Star Wars Story.
I didn't get to see it. I heard it was quite good.
Okay.
Jimmy's a big fan of it.
I like that. What's up? What'd you say?
I'm sorry. Jimmy's
No,
a big fan of it.
Oh, is it? Yeah. See, I saw it 3 times in a movie theater. I can't wait. It comes out on Blu-ray on September 25th of this month, or tomorrow will be next month. Yeah, and I think it's the 25th, but I know it's the end of the month. But yeah, I'm gonna pick that motherfucker up because I really enjoyed it. I loved it. I mean, you know, like as much as people, because I don't have a fucking stranglehold on Star Wars. I enjoy it for what it is. I mean, it's like it's entertainment. But I don't. You'll never see my fucking ass dressed up like Obi-Wan Kenobi and some fucking Jedi robes, busting out some fucking acrobatics and shit, and saying you are the chosen one, the chosen one. You know, I'm not gonna do any of that shit. You know, you're supposed to bring balance to the force, not corrupt it.
Well,
you know,
you've got. I mean, Star Wars is an interesting phenomenon. You've got so many people that it seems like they invest their lives in whether the next movie is going to be great or not. If it's not, it's not. Just go on with your life. You know, don't beat yourself up over it. I don't get it, or beat up other people over it. If it's bad, move on. There are plenty of bad movies out there that I didn't like, but you know, you don't see me writing a letter to the director or attacking people on Facebook or Twitter about, you know, their horrible movie. You know, for instance, The Spirit, which I thought was a spit in the face of Will Eisner and the character of the Spirit. I walked out halfway through the film, but I didn't write a letter to anyone and tell them how bad it was. Now, if they had asked me personally what I thought of it, of course I would tell them, but I will not go out of my way to make someone's day bad just because I thought their movie was horrible. That's not my position, you know.
Well, see, that's like, man, dude, I have an affinity for The Shadow, and man, on Blu-ray, back of me, it's over there. And I with Alec Baldwin, I thought he did a phenomenal job. I love The Shadow.
The Alec Baldwin Shadow.
The prototype for Batman. That's like,
I love that movie. I
love that movie. The dagger and the fucking CG that they use, like the graphics and shit.
The pulp characters from back in the day, they're
what's that?
For its time, it was phenomenal. the pulp characters
Yeah.
that were out, the pulp characters that were out prior to comic books are ripe for movies. I don't know why they don't do a good, viable movie with these characters. The Green Hornet movie was laughable. They made it a joke. They made it into more of a comedy than an action piece. I mean, it was a serviceable film. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't the Green Hornet and Kato.
Yeah.
I would like to see a more serious take on that. Do the same thing with characters like the Shadow or the Phantom or any of the characters that existed prior to superhero comic books, guys that were in comic strips and pulp magazines. Now's the time. Do it now. Doc Savage would be a fantastic film, and the talks for that apparently fell through. I guess The Rock was supposed to play Doc Savage, and he's perfect for that.
Oh, dude, I was so looking forward to that, bro. I know, because he has the build. He can do the bronze, man.
Yeah.
The man of bronze. Oh, my God, man. That would have been so good.
Real
yeah.
big. He's already the man of bronze. You're saving money on makeup there alone.
Yeah.
Or CG. But I would love to see that film,
Oh, dude,
The Shadow is a fantastic movie. Alec Baldwin's The Shadow is wonderful. I love that movie.
Yeah,
I mean, Billy Zane and the Phantom.
Yeah, that's what I was about to bring up too, man. Like, I mean, that's where we first saw Catherine Zeta-Jones in it, and you had Kirsty Swanson playing the love interest of Kit Walker. Like, I love Billy Zane as the Phantom. I don't know why people give it so much shit. I didn't really have a problem with the costume either. I thought that they could have went a little darker with it, like maybe. But like with today's technology and the way that they actually put money into the budget now, I would love to see I love Phantom and this is like my first experience with the Phantom was I would love them to make a Defenders of the Earth fucking movie, man. Like, I don't know if you remember that TV show back in the day, like the Defenders of the Earth.
Oh yeah, Mandrake the Magician.
Yeah, Defenders of the Earth, Defenders.
Who else was in?
Yeah, it was Mandrake. It was Lothar. It was Flash Gordon, the Phantom, the fucking kids. I can't remember.
Flash Gordon.
Yeah, Flash Gordon. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was like the leader. I love the.
I would love to see a new Flash Gordon.
Well, was it Matthew Vaughn who did X-Men First Class was supposed to do Flash Gordon, right? Hello?
He's doing what?
I said Matthew Vaughn was supposed to do Flash was actually supposed to do Flash Gordon. Hello?
Really?
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah, he was in talk. He was in talks for it, man. What's up?
He did Y the Last Man.
Matthew Vaughn did?
You remember that comic?
Yeah. Oh no, you're talking about Brian K. You're talking about Brian K. Vaughan. Matthew Vaughn is the.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Old
you're good.
My brain is addled.
No, you're totally good, bro. No, but yeah, no. I mean, hell, well, shit, man. We're talking about comic books. I mean, Brian K. Vaughan would be actually good too, man. Like, see, okay, like I like Saga, man. I don't know if you've ever gotten on the Saga train, but I actually fucking like that book. I don't know.
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
If it's fucking SJW or what. I mean, to me,
Saga's great.
Yeah, I mean, what people sold me on it, the people who I knew who read it before I ever fucking picked up, they were like, it's Star Wars meets Romeo and Juliet meets Game of Thrones. And when I heard that shit, I was fucking sold. I was like, okay, cool, right on. I'm there. I didn't even. I mean,
it was great.
I picked up the first trade for like $10.
Is that still running?
Yeah. They I just got like the last issue.
Is it still running? I think I got to I think I got to issue 30 before I stopped getting comics. It was very good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I would go back and because that's one of the like I actually get the singles, and then they do actually like a quarter break, so they'll break for 4 months. Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples to actually map out where the story goes. Because at first it was just Brian K. Vaughan and her just like drawing, but now like both of them are actually telling the story as well, because
That's
so
cool.
she's getting
That's
credit
cool.
as well for being a co-writer.
Really cool.
Yeah, and like the final issue, man. I don't want to give it away, but
that's great.
It's really good, man. It kind of changes the game on things, and my favorite character of that series is the Will, because I love it, because whenever he speaks or whenever he has like an internal monologue, I always think of like fucking Clint Eastwood, man. Like like just kind of like that dirty, hairy fucking fistful of dollars, like younger Clint Eastwood, like back in the day, not hammered grizzled Gran Torino, but just like, or like what is it? Any which way but loose, that fucking Clint Eastwood. And
like ET ice cream off the floor.
Oh, dude, I love Clint, man. He's so good. But yeah, man,
good stuff. I like Saga. I'm sorry.
No. I was waiting on you
there for a second. Dead air.
No, that's cool, man. I don't mind lulls, bro. It's cool. No, I was actually waiting on you, man. I thought you were gonna say something. It looked like you were about to say something.
I was brain farting.
Oh, okay. But yeah, man, like Saga, it's been really good. I mean, my biggest problem with comic books lately, and that's like the last time we were talking, I was like blanking on what the hell I got, just because, man, I used to be like you, man. I would have, especially like before, like I think like probably like a few years ago, like before, like I mean, Civil War II was like the last one that I was like, I told John, before he died, like, hey, listen, look, I'm gonna grab every issue of these, but this is the last one I'm gonna do, because I don't want to screw you on like, I don't want to drop the book and stuff like that, because I'm gonna be faithful. But that's the last one, because like Marvel's just been pumping out events, all these fucking books, and it's just
and they take a break and they're not gonna do it.
Yeah, and it's just and then they go back on the word, and it's just like, and it's one of those things where I like, and that's like Rebirth. Rebirth was fucking great, man. The first like 2 years of books coming out, but that's like Batman. Like I don't get Batman anymore. Number one, not because I don't like Tom King's writing. It's just that Batman doesn't need my fucking money. I would rather give it to like Aquaman or Green Lantern, ones that like. I love Robert Venditti's Hal Jordan and the Green Lanterns, and now Dan Jurgens is on Green Lanterns, and
oh really?
Yeah. Ever since Brian Michael Bendis took over fucking Superman, Dan Jurgens got put on Simon Baz and Jessica Cruz's book Green Lanterns, and I still need to catch up on it, but I mean, from what I hear, it's like really good, so I'm really looking forward to catching up on those. And so yeah, so it's just, and then I love Dan Abnett. I love his writing, so that's why I get Aquaman. And also too, I just love the character.
I know that.
No, go ahead, brother.
I know that I was singing Jeff Johns' praises earlier, but I think one of the worst characters he ever created was Simon Baz.
Really? You don't, dude? I gotta tell you, man.
I just don't. I don't think he was necessary, and I just don't. I don't like. I just thought he was kind of silly initially. He was written better later on, but I just didn't like. I don't think Green Lantern needs a gun. Whatever your ring's not going to take care of.
But he doesn't.
A 45 is definitely not going to help you.
But he doesn't wield the gun. I don't know if you've been keeping up with him, but he doesn't wield the gun. I think I have shit. I can't remember.
I know he got rid of it.
Okay. Yeah, but see, that's like, I like that because that harkens back to how Batman used to have a gun as well, right? When his first like few issues of like Detective Comics, Batman wielded a 45, a single action.
Yeah.
And so that's
was Batman.
Yeah, but I mean, I kind of looked at it as like paying homage. I mean, at least from my perspective. I'm not saying that that's how I kind of looked at it, because Jeff Johns loves Batman too.
Yeah.
I mean, he loves all these fucking characters.
Yeah.
But it's like,
well, I love Green Lantern. Green Lantern's always been one of my favorite characters. I love John Stewart. I love Hal Jordan. I love Kyle. I like Guy Gardner. I just think Guy Gardner's fun. But I think there are too many Earth Green Lanterns. Yeah. Way too many Earth Green Lanterns. For a viable storyline, there's just way too many Green Lanterns from Earth, from that sector.
Well, see, what I liked about what they did in like Green Lantern Corps, like when Brightest Day was going on, they actually made, and John Stewart's my favorite Green Lantern, like out of all of them. They made what was it, Kyle Rayner? Yeah,
he's a Marine. I mean, he's a badass.
Yeah, he's an architect. I mean, the guy. He's also a sniper reconnaissance as well. Like, I love that shit. And but yeah, and he has like that strategic military mindset.
He's the second greatest Green Lantern. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what was it? Abin Sur is like the first, right?
He's the second greatest Green Lantern.
Yeah, I think they see, like, I don't know if they praise Abin Sur as the greatest or Hal Jordan.
Oh, in my opinion, Hal Jordan will always be the greatest Green Lantern.
Oh, really?
He'll also be the most flawed. Be the most flawed.
See, I love
Kyle was a neat Green Lantern. The guy who's going to tell you he's the greatest Green Lantern is Guy Gardner.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
He thinks he's the greatest.
See, that's what I love about Guy, man, because he's such a dick. I mean, he's such a cock, man. But it's like he has like that arrogance about him, which it's very appealing.
He's a badass. He's a certified badass.
And he was a Red Lantern too, dude. I don't know if you read the run of Red Lanterns when he was going undercover with because he
was a great Rage Lantern. He was a great Red Lantern.
Oh, I love that shit, man. That was some good fucking. I can't remember who wrote it, man. That was New 52, and then he flips on fucking.
I did
on Hal. He's like, yeah, fuck you. I'm taking over. I'm like, and then they fought over which one was going to have control of Earth, and it's like the Red Lanterns for a while had control of Earth.
I lost your sound.
Oh, okay, sorry. I was saying that I loved how Jordan, how he flipped on Hal, and he's like, listen, look, I don't care.
Yep.
The Red Lanterns are going to take over, and as being protectors of the Earth, of sector of what is it, 2814, and then Hal was just kind of like, trying to keep the peace and shit, and be like, all right, I love that, dude. That whole fucking run was that. Because I wasn't really big into Red Lanterns until Guy got in there, and then like the last like half of that run was so fucking good.
Yeah, I would too.
But yeah, and that's one of those things. Well, see, I love like Abin Sur.
Yeah.
See, I love the whole. I love what John did with the mythology.
Everyone's favorite Green Lantern depends on when they started reading them.
Yeah. Well. See. Okay. See, I like Abin Sur because if you remember, Abin Sur was the one with the indigenous Indigo guy. They were the one that made the Indigo tribe, and they made them to control sociopaths because, what was it? The sociopath was the one that killed Abin Sur's not daughter. Yeah, killed his daughter, and and then he with the native and him made her basically gave her the emotions of compassion, and showed her, oh shit, what I did was wrong, because sociopaths, they don't understand what the hell, they don't understand right and wrong. She wasn't a psychopath, where psychopaths are just kind of like, they don't care, about right and wrong. It's just, it's like whatever pleases them. And that's what I thought was so great, especially like, me, because when I read that, I was taking psychology classes, and I was like, oh shit, I'm learning. And that's what kind of like helped me, like, reading that, I could relate to it better. I was like, damn, man, this is pretty fucking cool, and but yeah, but just learning about that stuff, and just like what Jeff Johns did with that whole fucking run, and then Robert Venditti taking it over, and now I'm really intrigued to see what
idea, the whole.
Oh, go ahead, brother.
The whole idea of the different rings, the spectrum of rings, I thought was ingenious.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved it, man. I mean, even now, like in a new Justice League that Scott Snyder's doing, they have the ultraviolet spectrum, which is like the invisible spectrum that Sinestro has tapped into. And the first recipient is actually, yeah. I mean, I've read the first, I want to say 2 or 3 issues, and they're really good, man. What was it? Fucking Jim Chung does the first issue for like the artistry. It's pretty good. I'm not really big into Jim Chung all that much. I think he draws bodies great, but his faces pretty much look the same to me. But was it George Jimenez? I think it's George Jimenez. Like he does the artistry for 2 through like 6 now, and it's really been good, man. I kind of don't like the way that they make Sinestro look.
A lot of artists suffer from that.
Well, the faces, yeah. Well, shit. Like, see, I love Rob Liefeld, and like people criticize him for feet, but I'm like, I don't care. I still like his art. So, but yeah, man. I mean, it's really good because Scott Snyder kind of brings it back. What's up? What was that?
We're lagging quite a bit.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me turn off my camera. Hopefully that's better. Is that okay?
Oh yeah. Well, a lot of people give Liefeld shit, but he influenced an entire generation of art.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's like I think he's better at like drawing like Spider-Man.
We're lagging really bad.
Oh, are we really? Good. Well, hey, I know it's getting on almost 10, man. Do you want to call it, or?
I mean, I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's up to you, brother. If you want to keep going or not. I can hear you.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Hello? Okay.
Talk to me when you hear me. Okay.
I hear you.
It's gone.
Okay. But yeah, I think no, dude, you're good, man. No, but it's like Liefeld, I think he's better at drawing like people who have like masks on and stuff like that, but facial features I don't really think he's all that great at, or like he needs more time. You know what I'm saying? So
well, I mean, a lot of people give Liefeld shit, and me being one of them. I've never been a huge Liefeld fan, but like I said, he did influence an entire generation of artists that came behind him. And I don't. I think because of his silly things like his inability to draw feet, people give him a lot of shit, and undeservedly so.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love his well, like his X-Men stuff. I'm sorry, X-Force. I like he did like there's a I have his like what if, because I think the first thing he ever did was a what if comic book, and it's like what if Wolverine was a SHIELD agent, and he did the cover for that, and it's fucking phenomenal, man. I picked it up at a con like last year, and for like $1.50, and I was like, and I loved it so much, dude. I mean, because that's where
awesome.
a lot of artists like cut their teeth on, was the what if comic.
Yeah.
Like if you could,
Yep.
like if you were like they would give you the shit book, and that's like I love the what if book. If like what if Spider-Man kept his cosmic powers, right?
Yeah.
Like I love that book. I mean, it's like worthless. I mean, it's like $1, maybe even a quarter, but it's like I just love it.
Speaking of artists cutting their teeth on stuff, and writers, they used to do Marvel spotlights and Marvel premiere and books like that, where they would try out characters, with new artists or new writers, and I think they need to go back to that model. They wouldn't have so many crap books on the wall if they would try them out first for a couple of months and see how well they sold.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but, I mean,
I'm old. That's old school thinking. So.
Well, I mean, it's like, well, what we kind of circle back around. It's basically comes down to media too. It's like everything, like comic books. I mean, since like the age of like the interwebs and stuff like that. That's why you have weekly books now from most people. Another thing that's hurting them are like comic books are like $3 and $4 now. I mean, issue ones are like fucking $6. Like the first Fantastic Four, the new one was $6. Yeah. I was just like, I mean, I got it because I was intrigued.
Yeah, I got it too.
And I was
got
intrigued
it too, but it was unnecessary. It was unnecessary. It didn't need to be that much, but
yeah,
Lord knows they're not paying their artists and writers that money.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like the artists and writers, they don't have healthcare plans. They don't fucking, I mean, they got to pay for their own shit. I mean, it's like that's like Scott Snyder. I mean, he signs like an exclusivity contract with DC, and the guy probably gets like $1 million a year, but he has to pay for his family's medical bills and shit, or his Medicaid or Medicare or whichever one. He has to pay for all that shit out of pocket. So it's like and. So it's like, yeah, you're getting paid $1 million a year, but it's like, but fucking that shit's going to like, medical bills plus, the government takes that money too. So it's like they're going to take their cut. So it's like, yeah, I mean, he's still making bank. It's just, it's just, it's yeah. I mean,
yeah, it's ridiculous the amount they cost now, and I think DC's talking about boosting the price of their books up to $5.
Are they really? No shit.
I thought I had heard that or read that somewhere. They're going to price themselves right out of the market is what's going to end up happening.
And see, and that's the problem. And that's okay. So since we're kind of like circling back around a little bit again, I mean, that's why, man, like I kind of told myself this too, like when regular books get to be like $6 an issue, that's where I'm like, I call it quits. I may get one fucking book here and again, but I am not spending this much on. I mean, I remember back in like the late 80s, early 90s, comics were a fucking $1. Okay, hell, I remember fucking Superman.
When I started buying comics, they were a quarter.
Yeah, I mean, and let me tell you, the fucking art was fucking good back then, better than most of the shit that's out now. The
art was better, and the stories were better.
Yeah,
and you had more in a book. If you pick up an old Stan Lee book, it'll take you probably 20, 25 minutes or a half hour to read. If you pick up a new book, you're through with it in 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I get more use out of. I mean, I've been playing that fucking Destiny 2 video game, and I spent you know, fucking what, like $60 on it, $50 on it, and
Yeah.
you know, and I get more use out of that fucking video game for
Yeah, you
entertainment
get money.
as I would a month for a fucking pull list. You know, it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like fucking ridiculous. It's like, it doesn't,
Yeah.
you know. So
Yeah, I've been playing No Man's Sky. That's pretty fun. You should give that a shot.
Yeah, how is that, man? It just came out for the fucking Xbox, didn't it?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I want to play that, man.
It's really good. You know, especially with the enhanced 4K. It's really nice.
Oh, really? Oh, you have 4K?
Yeah, I've got an OLED, 55-inch OLED curved screen. It's got the best picture I've seen on anything ever.
Holy shit! See, I'm such a loser, man. I still got fucking like was it 1080p and all that shit? You know,
You're not. That doesn't make you a loser. That just means you didn't upgrade yet.
Well, fuck, man. Like, see, yeah, dude. Well, hell, man. I mean, shit. I don't know if they come down in price. The last time I saw them, man, they were like $3,000 and shit. So it's like,
no, for 4K, no. You can get a good 4K TV for $800.
Really?
Yeah, mine wasn't 800, but you can get one for $800.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I have to check into that. Yeah, because, dude,
Yeah.
I want to. Do you have a PS4?
No, I have an Xbox One.
Oh man, see, I want to play a new Spider-Man. I have a PS4, and I want to play a new fucking Spider-Man when it comes out because that looks fucking.
I was so
baller,
disappointed that it was. I was so disappointed that it was exclusive to Xbox. That broke my heart.
Really?
Or
See,
to Sony.
See, that's the only reason why I got a fucking. Okay, so I got a what was it, PS4 for the new God of War. I still haven't played that, but it's so fucking good looking, man. I've seen gameplay of that. It's so good.
Yeah.
And
I'm looking forward to Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, that looks pretty baller, man.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, because I know the first one, man. With that was dope as fuck.
Oh, it was amazing. I went back and replayed it recently, and it still holds up.
How
long? A great game.
When did that game come out? Like, what's the difference? Like, time frame difference?
Lord, I can't. Well, it came out for the 360.
Yeah.
So
because I remember they did the zombie one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that?
Was it like 6 years, 7 years? Going on a fucking decade?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a while. It's still a beautiful game. I play it, like I said, occasionally still, and some of the landscape is just breathtaking. You know, watching the sun come up over the horizon and stuff. It's really well done.
I gotta tell you, man.
Like big box games.
Oh, I do too, man. Fucking the one game, man, I really enjoy is the Lord of the Rings Lego edition, like the Lego Lord of the Rings. I love that.
Dude, I love Lego.
Oh, it's so good. And I got the Hobbit too, man, for PS4. The Lego Hobbit. Oh my god, it's so good, man. I love this fucking game.
I just downloaded Indiana Jones 2, the Lego.
Oh yeah,
it was free. It was free on Xbox Gold.
And oh really?
Fun as heck. But I get all the superhero games. I always get the Marvel or the DC Lego games because they're so fun, and you have such a cast of characters.
Well, see, that's like the Star Wars ones, man. Like they're really good too. Like I love the what is it, the episode 1 through 3, like the prequels. I love those. Those are really good.
Yeah, they're sold as a set now. You can get the 1 through 6.
Oh, can you really?
Game.
Holy shit! I didn't know that. Okay, I'll have to look into it.
It's pretty cool. As a matter of fact, you can download it on your phone and play episodes 1 through 6 on your phone. You can play episode 1 for free, and then if you want to unlock all the other episodes, you just pay one fee, and I think it's like $5 or something like that.
Damn, that's cool, man.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I like it.
Yeah, man,
and it's fun to play on the phone.
And see, and like what we're talking about right now too, like you see how much like time, like what you're talking about, $5, man. You can play for it on your phone, so you can take it, so you can take it with you, portable, and also too, it's like you know, there's so much content. You just said like 1 through 6, episode 1 through 6, where it's like $5 compared to like, you know, fucking a one $5 comic book from DC apparently now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's like that's fucking it's fucking retarded, you know?
yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
they're asking too much, and they're gonna eventually, you know, they're gonna shoot themselves in the foot and have to back off the price. It's inevitable.
well, see, I remember when DC was doing that, drawing the line at $2.99. I was like, well, thank God, you know, it's like somebody's
Yeah,
doing this shit.
yeah.
You
That didn't
know?
last very long though. That only lasted like a year, didn't it?
Yeah, yeah, because see, they did that during the brightest day, and then what was it? Oh yeah, yeah, and then New 52 came out, and then I can't remember how much I know like Batman, Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's Batman, the New 52. I think that was like $4.99 when it first came out. It was like $1 more
Yeah,
because of the covers
that
and
was a
stuff.
good book though.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, yeah, like I have. See, that's one book I didn't get when it came out because I think I was still in the military when New 52 came out. But
Yeah, I
but I
I've
got
never been a real big single hero kind of guy. I don't generally buy books with single heroes. I'm more of a team book guy.
mhm.
But I have been known to dabble, and that was one of the books I dabbled in. You know, because I just like Batman, and I liked Capullo's work on Batman.
Oh yeah, dude. Like I love Capullo. Like his Spawn number 77. I have that book. It's like it's where Spawn has like angel wings and stuff. Like that cover,
Oh,
man.
cool.
It's so fucking. If you look it up on the internet, man, it's so fucking amazing. It's like that is like one
Yeah,
hard ass fucking book to find, man. Like,
he's a really nice guy too. I met him at Baltimore Comic Con, and he was wearing a BLS, a Black Label Society
yeah, oh
hat.
yeah, fucking Zach Wild,
And,
man. Fuck yeah, bro.
yeah, so we had something to talk about. Yeah, I'm a big Zach Wild fan.
Yeah, I am too, man. I love his take. He did a remake of Ain't No Sunshine by Bill Withers.
Yeah,
I love that,
yeah,
man.
it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
it's
him at the
fantastic.
fucking piano, man, dude. Like if I want something like so somber and just kind of melancholy and shit, when I'm at the
Yeah,
gym pumping iron, I just put that shit on, man. And it's just like, yeah, it's fucking tits, man.
that and In This River is really
Yeah,
good. The song he
yeah,
wrote and dedicated to Dimebag.
yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, oh man, dude, I love his shit, man. I love when he was a guitarist for Ozzy, man. Fucking
Oh
killer,
yeah,
man.
I saw. I went to Ozfest. My incredible wife bought me tickets to Ozfest one year, and Black Label Society played the small stage at Jiffy Lube Live,
Hmm.
and he was playing on stage. I was, from here to the end of my dining room table to the stage, and he's playing, and he finishes his set, and his band leaves, and he stays out on stage, and Ozzy and his band came out, and he played with Ozzy that year on the small stage, and it was phenomenal, man. It
Really,
was something to write home about. It was incredible,
dude. Like
and Ozzy sounded fantastic.
fuck, man. Damn, dude. Yeah, I remember, dude. Like I know people are gonna probably hate on me, and that's fucking fine, dude. But I love Limp Bizkit. I still do, man. And I remember when they played Ozfest, man. You know, fuck, dude. And like Ozzy came out and like sung with Fred Durst and shit. I was like, that's fucking baller, man. It's like,
Yeah, yeah. That same show I saw on the big stage, I saw Disturbed and System of a Down when they did their last show before they took that big break.
oh really? Oh, I didn't know System of a Down was at Ozfest.
System of a Down was phenomenal. I mean, they
Really?
were just,
God
oh,
damn, dude.
they sounded just like they did in studio. I was
Really?
blown away. Yeah, yeah, phenomenal group.
Well, see, I love Disturbed too,
Well,
man. I mean,
I got to wrap it up here, sir.
all right, brother. Well, hey, man, thank you so much, kind sir.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I just heard you.
I always have a good time. I wish we'd have less. I wish we'd have less technical difficulties, but
I know, man.
I always
Well,
enjoy
hey,
talking
man,
comics with you, man.
it was a good talking comes to you too, brother. Yeah, hey, man, thank you so much for doing this. Hopefully, we can do this next week, and hopefully, Jimmy will
Nope.
will be all up up to specs. You know. Thanks, Jimmy, for dropping the ball again.
Poor Jimmy. I feel bad for
I'm
him.
just giving him a razz shit.
Poor guy.
Fucking going off the rails. Gotta wait for you, pal. Thanks a lot. Fuck.
Yeah, count me in for next week. I'd love to do another show with you. It'd be great.
All right, brother. Hell yeah, man. Yeah, we'll work out the details, man. And yeah, dude. I'll get with you next week, man.
Yeah, it'd be great. It'd be a lot of fun.
Hell yeah, man. Yes, people. This has been Gentlemen with Cocktails, the first episode, technically the second episode. Thank you for listening and watching and listening. And tell Jimmy to up his stuff. We should do a crowdfunder for him or something.
Can you dig it?
Oh, yeah. Can you dig it? All right. See you, brother. Have a good one.
I'll talk to you later.
All right, man.
God bless. God bless. Have a good week.
All right, man.
Bye.
Mahalo. Thank you in Hawaiian. God bless. Take care. Love to all. Kamsge for life. And aloha.